Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian Podcast, episode 30. We are available on anchor.fm/Travis Damian Podcast, along with iTunes, Spotify, and many more. Today, we're going to dive into the general news, then our recent activities, and then the whole thing about the PlayStation 5 prices and stuff like that. So first up is the Wonderful 101 is being remastered via Kickstarter. And there were leaks about this because Platinum Games made a Kickstarter account and stuff like that, and there were some weird teasers about 101. So when it was finally announced, this shit hit its goal within not even the first 24 hours. It was super duper fast.
Yeah, this was insane. I mean, they mostly did it, I think, just for so they could self-publish it, so they could put it in multi console. So it's gonna be on PlayStation and PC and Switch. So yeah, I think that's why they mostly wanted to do this Kickstarter, so they were able to do that. Probably without this Kickstarter, probably would have only been on Switch because Nintendo was like, "Hey, we got you." But Platinum was probably like, "Nah, let's try to do this ourselves." So they decided to do a Kickstarter, and it blew its goal way out of the water. I think it made more money from this Kickstarter than it did its whole run when it was actually being sold on the Wii U. So
yeah, I think Kofi said that when the game came out, the first week it sold 3,000 copies or something like that, which I didn't look up, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was the actual number. But yeah, it seems that this game has a really strong cult following, or people that really like this game and they've seen it on YouTube or whatever, and they're like, you know what, I will probably want to play the remastered version of this game, sort of thing.
Right. And it just helps that a lot it probably wasn't the game's fault it didn't sell well, because again, it was on the Wii U, so no one really paid attention to it. So it seems like a lot of people maybe had interest in this game but just didn't want a Wii U just to play this game. So maybe this Kickstarter is I could just get the game now on a normal console. So that's probably why it's done so well. And even if you do back it on Kickstarter, I think you get it at a reduced price too. I might Kickstarter it just to get the game. So you already know the game is good. So it's there's not really big danger of kickstarting this because you already know the product is going to be good, to begin with. So yeah, it seems like a pretty safe thing. I heard some people complaining why does this even need a Kickstarter? But I don't think those people realize how expensive self-publishing and stuff is. They probably did need it. Platinum is still pretty small. They usually rely on other bigger publishers Square and Nintendo to get stuff done. So it's nice that they really are looking to branch out and be bigger, and start publishing their own stuff.
Yeah, definitely, because this game definitely didn't sell well, and the fact that it's the goddamn Kickstarter's at 1.6 mil.
Yeah, it has a lot of money.
So this is definitely something that people really, really wanted. Personally, I actually have it on the Wii U, but I've never played it a shit ton, so I have no idea how good the game is. But I do remember strongly when this game came out, it was super duper mixed. So I guess the game's good now. I guess I'll have to try it again one of these days. I might just back it. I'm not sure yet, because I believe the just to get the physical version, it's $41. Yeah. That's probably before shipping and everything, so probably around 50, something like that, which isn't that bad. So this is definitely going to be very interesting. Also, this is part of the Platinum 4 website, and the first announcement was Wonderful 101, and we haven't seen anything else yet, so hopefully the other announcements are just as exciting.
Yeah, hopefully Bayonetta gets something during the direct that doesn't exist right now. All right, so next piece of news here. We got Phil Spencer. If you don't know him, he's the president of Xbox. He's saying that Amazon and Google are going to be their main competitors going forward, not Sony and Nintendo. And that's mostly because of the whole cloud gaming thing that, it looks like Xbox really wants to focus on now. He says that Sony and Nintendo, while they're great, that's not really their goal anymore. As a company going forward, they want to really focus on the Azure or whatever it's called, the whole cloud gaming thing. So Google and stuff, and Amazon, they have all their stuff going on with Stadia, and Amazon, it's Amazon. So I mean, honestly, I don't think they have to worry about Google that much because the Stadia, I think we talked about the Stadia, but it's not doing so hot. So I think Xbox and just Microsoft would be fine in this market. I honestly think they probably have the strongest chance to really get into the whole cloud gaming thing, just because, you know, people know Xbox. You know, it's not like Google was like, oh, Google's doing a gaming thing. Like, why? Well, Xbox, you know, oh, yeah, they're a gaming thing. So you'll probably trust them more with, like, the whole cloud gaming stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because when people reading articles and posting their shitty opinions on Twitter, they were like, what do you mean Sony and Nintendo aren't competitors? Like, Phil Spencer's just looking at the much bigger picture when it comes to Google and Amazon, because, like, they are actually, like, taking over the world. Like, Amazon and Google are, like, everywhere. I would say, like, more than 50% of people in the US use, like, probably Amazon Prime, like, most likely.
Yeah.
And, like, Google is, like, the main search engine for, like, almost everyone. And, like, people use, like, the other Google apps. Like, we use Google Docs to, you know, keep track of this podcast and stuff like that. So, you know, like, them in, like, the gaming space sort of thing, like, obviously, like that's super new. And, like, he's, like, thinking, like, 20 steps ahead, obviously, which isn't a bad thing. It's just that, you know, he's just keeping in mind with the whole, like, cloud gaming thing, because this could be the future, because he is making a really good point that Google and Amazon do have a reach of, like, thousands and thousands of people. But, you know, when you look at, like, Amazon Prime streaming video or whatever, not many people really use that. They just use it for, like, the free 2-day shipping sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, like, when it comes to, like, Amazon, I think he's a little, like, far out there, but Google is actually trying to get into the whole gaming thing with Stadia. Obviously, their first hurdle is kind of bad, but eventually I think it'll get there.
Yeah, so, like, I understand what he's saying. Like, you know, these are companies to look out for, obviously. But, you know, I think Microsoft is going to be way ahead of Amazon and Google in terms of, like, gaming cloud stuff. So I don't think Phil Spencer has to worry that much, honestly, at least at this point. Unless Sony tries to do something, which we don't know yet. You know, we really don't know anything about the PS5 yet. So, you know, we don't know if they're going to do their own cloud thing. It wouldn't surprise me if they do, because everyone's jumping on this train. Nintendo, you know, they're not going to do anything. Nintendo's just going to be Nintendo. They do their own thing. So yeah, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Like, I was going to say E3, but, like, no one's showing up at E3 anymore. So.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's ditching it.
So I guess we'll learn when they reveal more stuff about the PS5 and see how worried Microsoft has to be about that stuff.
Yeah. All right. Next piece of news is that the EVO 2020 lineup was announced, including Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is, like, an invitational sort of thing. So that is pretty cool. But the main games they have is Dragon Ball FighterZ, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Samurai Showdown, Soul Calibur 6, Street Fighter 5, Smash Ultimate, Tekken 7, and Under Night in Birth X Late, or whatever the hell that last game is. But yeah, another year without Melee, which is fine, because I think Melee in, like, its own, like, Smash tournaments and stuff like that, I think it's still going strong. But obviously EVO was, like, a staple for Melee for a very long time, and, you know, 2 Smash games, you know, Ultimate's the newer one sort of thing, and EVO always wants to bring in these newer games. But the MVC2, like, coming back was definitely probably the biggest surprise out of everything.
Yeah, it was a cool thing, because it's, like, 20 years old apparently, so that's cool they're bringing it back. And, you know, I know people love Marvel, and, you know, Capcom, you know, Infinite was kind of garbage, so it's cool that they're bringing back Marvel vs. Capcom 2 just for, like, a one-time thing, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's also, like, no Mortal Kombat either. Like, that's weird. Like, you would think Mortal Kombat would be in here, but it's just not. So yeah, and, you know, and again, you know, Melee also isn't here, like you said, but, you know, I think Melee had its time in the sun, like, at least in EVO, and, you know, they want to bring in new games, like you said, so it makes sense. I know people are still going to be kind of angry about it, but I think Melee is fine on its own. You know, it could still exist there, but, you know, I like that they were, like, bringing in newer stuff, you know?
Yeah, definitely trying new things out.
I'm happy Soul Calibur 6 is... I actually really like Soul Calibur 6, so I'm happy that's there. All right, so here's some more Doctor Strange 2 news. You know, this whole movie's, like, been really weird so far. So now we got Sam Raimi, the person who you might know because he made or directed the Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man trilogy. Yeah, so now he, you know, I don't know if is this confirmed or is just in the talks, right? Like, he's just, like,
I think he's in the talks, but it's like people are treating it as if he's gonna direct it, which I wouldn't be surprised, because I don't know who else they would get for this.
Yeah, like,
But you could go on.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know. I feel like he'll be a pretty cool fit for this movie. But again, this whole movie just seems to be like not doing so hot. A lot of the MCU stuff right now seems to be kind of a mess right now of like what's happening. Like with the Hawkeye show and now this is like, I don't know what's going on. Like people are just like dropping in and out. Like it's crazy.
Like what's it called? When people saw, or like first up, when I saw this shit, I was like, what the fuck? Like this is like, it's like the ultimate timeline where like Sam Raimi coming back to direct Doctor Strange 2. I was like, okay, that's gonna be interesting because, you know, when Sam Raimi makes a movie, like most people, like when they watch Sam Raimi movies, it's a Sam Raimi movie, you know, like. And we know how the MCU works. Like, they want to make their movies their way. So I don't know how this is going to work entirely. I'm not sure if Kevin Feige's going to be like, hey, man, here you go. Just make the movie you want, and we'll be happy with it. I'm sure that's not going to happen. Like, there might be creative differences. I'm not entirely sure. But this is definitely still, like, in the talks. It's not officially announced yet. I don't think so. But if it does happen, this would definitely be very exciting. Just because people really like Sam Raimi in his original Spider-Man trilogy and his other works. So seeing him come back in the superhero sort of genre with Doctor Strange 2 would definitely be very exciting. But who knows what's going to happen now at this point? Because, like you said, the MCU after Endgame has kind of been like a mess behind the scenes, unfortunately.
Yeah, so. It has been. I just don't... I guess they don't really have as clear of a vision anymore. So they're just like... we don't know what to do. So yeah, hopefully they can fix that up because, you know, I want to be, you know, more excited and just like worry about like what's gonna happen. So
yeah. All right, so this thing blew up on Twitter and the internet for no goddamn reason. So there was a news article on Nintendo Enthusiast. Someone wrote an article and the headline was Nintendo wanted Sora and Smash and Disney vetoed it. So pretty much this entire article is about the kind of funny games. They're just like speculating as to like if Sora was in Smash, if like there were talks with Disney, and like one of the guys pretty much was like, you know, going into like the theory, and he was like, yeah, you know, there were probably talks about it, and then he took that clip and made a whole news article about it. So it's literally just the kind of funny guys just speculating, and it was just a rumor, and people on Twitter just ran with it and like just read the headline and like just wrote their shitty opinions without reading the actual article. And it just like, you know, like the whole like fake news shit, like obviously like it's like memed out and this and that, but like it's actually true. Like people will write fake shit and then people will just read the headlines and then take it as true news. And this exactly happened right here, right now with this whole Sora article, because we don't know what happened. It's just these guys just speculating on a podcast. Like, it was like, imagine if like us, like for whatever reason, we were speculating about something and then someone took that shit and made it as fact and was like, yeah, this is going to happen. And we're like, wait a minute, holy moly, you know, like, yeah, it just baffles me that like people still like don't like do the research that they should before posting or like reposting something, especially with how like, you know, often it happens in other like non-gaming spaces where it's like actual like news related things happening with real people, you know?
Yeah, like, yeah, it definitely is a problem, just like not in gaming but like everywhere, that people just read the headlines, you know, and then you just take that as fact and don't really read the rest of the article, and you can see that's like, you know, kind of just speculation. So yeah, that's just how it is nowadays. I mean, like, both people are to blame, and the person who wrote the article, because, you know, they're just trying to get clicks. So there's like, hey, like, you know, this is definitely what happened. But then when they actually read the article, it's like, no, that's not what they really meant. But you know, it's like a whole thing. I mean, I guess, like, I mean, you know, it's just speculation at this point. Like, I would say, like, probably Sora will be hard to get because, you know, he is, like, I think, like, I don't even know this, actually, but I think Sora is not even a Square character. It's, like, a Disney character, apparently. I'm not too sure if that's true, but, I don't know. Yeah. Either way, it's going to be hard to get Sora in Smash. I wouldn't argue that, but saying he's, like, totally off the table, I don't think that's, you know, I don't think that's fair to say because you don't have any official confirmation that that's true or not. Because usually Sakurai like says things like later after they add stuff. It's like, yeah, maybe we wanted this character, but it just didn't work out. So I don't know. We don't know anything. So like, take everything you hear about like Sora or anything like that like, worth a grain of salt, because we really don't know. Like, he could very well be in Fighter Pass 2. We just don't know yet. So yeah, just if you read articles like that, especially like Nintendo type stuff, like always like read the article, because usually it's like a bunch of rumors that aren't even true. So. Yeah.
Like, I was just I was honestly just like so like mad. Like, people stop retweeting this, stop quote tweeting it, like stop it, because you're actually just spreading this fake knowledge from this Nintendo enthusiast goddamn website, and they're just getting more clicks and more retweets and whatever. So yeah, it is what it is at this point. But yeah, we know nothing about Sora, and we know nothing about Disney and Nintendo in talks or any bullshit like that. So
yeah,
it's pretty much
just all speculation and rumors. Don't take it seriously yet.
Yep.
All right, so we got like hot news right here that just like came out. We got the Stranger Things 4 teaser. It didn't really show, but it didn't show much because it's just a teaser. But what we could gather from it is that Hopper's alive. Like, everyone should have known. Like, I don't know why some people actually thought he was dead. I'm like, why? Like, he's obviously still alive.
Yeah. So
basically, the teaser just shows him like working, I guess, in like some like camp for Russians, because I guess he got caught. So I guess he's just working like to death in like Serbia or something. And that's like the only thing I could gather from this. And he has his head shaved, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's gonna be a pretty interesting season. Maybe my brother suggested that it could be like a Hopper only season. That would be kind of interesting. Like, just seeing how he gets out of Russia or whatever. But we don't really know too much yet. So yeah.
It's just another teaser. It's on Valentine's Day, so very fitting. But yeah, it's definitely very interesting that they decided to drop this today, and they revealed that Hopper is alive instead of like saving it for the eventual season 4. Because I would imagine that they wanted to use footage of Hopper in the upcoming trailers or whatever. So I guess they're showing us now. So when it does happen later, we're not like too surprised about it. But suggesting that it's a Hopper only season, that's very interesting, honestly. I think that would be like a huge like risk taker for them, because I think the mass majority of people really like the show, really like the kids, but they also like Hopper, so I'm not sure which one overweighs the other one, sort of thing. But this is definitely going to be very interesting. Hopper being alive confirmed now, so that is definitely very cool.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. And I don't know why I felt like this came out so much sooner. Like, I feel like the seasons are getting faster to produce, at least like to me. Like, I felt like the wait from like season 2 to 3 was like very long, and I feel like the wait from season 3 to 4 it was like I don't know if it's just because I'm like busier now or what. Like, I don't know. It just felt like it was so much shorter. But I don't know. That's good. It just means more Stranger Things, and I'm always down for that.
Yeah. Did you see the Batman teaser? Actually,
I did not.
Oh, okay. So I'm just gonna paste this in there. Oh shoot! I'm just gonna paste that there. So watch the first like minute or so, and then I'll just like talk about it real quick. Right. So, this like test footage of the new Batman outfit that they're using in the new movie, and the way I found out about it was I was on Twitter and Daredevil was trending, and I was like, oh boy. And then I saw the picture and I was like, oh shit, is this Daredevil season 4? No, it's actually just the Batman. and it's just the new costume. It just looks so similar to Daredevil that people were just making fun of it, and like, we need Daredevil season 4, which I highly agree with. But yeah, I was very disappointed when I found out that this was a Batman trailer. But hey, you know what? They're going for a whole new look for the next Batman. I'm not sure if they should go for this look entirely, because it does look pretty similar to Daredevil, but this is a origin story, so they maybe want to start with this one. Obviously, the actor Rob Patterson, I believe is his name, playing as Batman. He's not like the bulkiest dude, so like, keeping this Batman like this as like a, much more, I guess, like fit guy, not like super big. And within this outfit, it does look super clean, it does look super nice, but it does have very clear similarities to Daredevil.
It does. Yeah, I was looking at this does look like a Daredevil suit with like the Batman thing on the front. So yeah, I guess that's cool. I didn't even know that came out. I mean, it was inevitable we're gonna get another Batman thing. So it seems like DC is really restructuring like everything. And like I said before, I think DC is better when they just focus on like single movies. Like I really like Shazam and Joker, and those were like the own separate things. So if this Batman could just focus on being a good movie and not tie in everything together, because they're not Marvel, then that would be fine. Like I think DC is the best when they do that, because I really did enjoy Shazam and Joker. So hopefully it follows that trend. So.
All right, so now let's jump into our recent activities. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I don't have much.
I got a lot to say.
All right, so first off, I played the new DLC for Fire Emblem that came out like yesterday. I didn't play too much of it. I only played like an hour and a half. But that's the Cindered Shadows. Basically, it's its own little side thing. So I was really confused with how this DLC would even be incorporated into the game, since they weren't really clear until it actually came out. At first, I thought it was going to be like integrated into the main campaign. Like you play through the game, and then like during the middle of like the first half of the game, you will do the side thing and then get these new students. But it actually works as a whole separate save file. So you select it from the main menu. It's called Side Stories. You select the Cinder Shadows thing, and then it's like a new campaign by itself, which is cool. It takes place during the pre-time skip, so like everyone still like doesn't hate each other. That's not a spoiler, by the way, because Nintendo showed that multiple times. Anyway, so yeah, it takes place during that, and it follows about the secret fourth house, where there's 4 new students with 4 new classes, with a new story and stuff like that. I don't really know much about the story yet, but I do like the new students from what I've seen so far. And from what I've played from the first mission, it is definitely harder. They said that the game was going to be a lot harder than the base story, which is good, because I thought even for Fire Emblem games is supposed to be pretty difficult, and most of them are pretty hard. But Three Houses was actually like super easy. Like I played on hard, and I barely sweat through any of that game. It was like super easy. During this first mission, I was getting my ass kicked already. Like I had it on hard, and I'm probably gonna put on easy, because not easy, on normal, because the game is a lot more difficult. It's like just like you don't really have many units, since they only give you like a few to start out with, and then I just don't think you can recruit that many people, honestly. I think you only get like 6 students. Like you get the 3 house leaders and 3 other students plus yourself, plus those 4 other characters, the Cinder Shadow people, and I think that's it. So like you don't really have a lot of options to really change around what builds you could do and stuff like that. So it just makes the game inherently a little more difficult. And just the maps in general feel a lot more claustrophobic, just because like it takes place during this whole underground thing and stuff like that. So there's a lot of corridors and things like that. So a lot of narrow choke points that's harder to like get your melee boys in there. So yeah, it just seems like the maps in general are like a lot harder, which is nice. I think Three Houses was one thing it was really lacking, was difficulty. So it's nice to see them really up that. But besides that, it seemed like it's pretty beefy. I'm only an hour and a half in. I only did like 1 mission, so it seems like there's quite a bit to this DLC. I'm reading that it's maybe like 8 or 10 hours. So yeah, it's a pretty sizable piece of DLC. So I'm excited to play more of it and like use these new units in the main game once I decide to play the game again. Since Three Houses is just a very good game and I love it. So yeah, so far so good. Next and the last thing I really played was Elder Scrolls Online. I felt like playing a new MMO, and I felt like playing an Elder Scrolls game, so I'm just gonna like buy this. Why not? And it's really good. I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. I basically played like every MMO that existed, and this was like the only one I was really missing, and I heard a lot of good things about it. And just like any game that comes out this generation, it was like garbage when it first came out, but it got a lot better. So, I wish games just came out good nowadays, but you have to wait like 4 years until they're good. So whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm playing it and it's very good. It's very much Skyrim with other people, basically. And I like Skyrim, so I'm like, yeah, this is fun. It barely feels like an MMO at times. Like the leveling experience is usually the worst part of an MMO, since you're just doing mindless quests. So, you just kill things, just go back, and you're mostly there to do raids and dungeons and all that good stuff. This game has that too, but the leveling experience feels like you're playing like Skyrim or something. Like, all the mechanics from that game are in this game, just MMO-y a little bit. and every side quest has voice acting. Like every NPC like is voice acted. All the quests like feel like they actually matter. Even the stupid little quest just to get for like you just do for XP. Like they actually like have like pretty nice little stories to them and stuff like that. Like every zone you explore is huge. There's a ton of things to do. I'm just very impressed with it, honestly. It feels good. It's just out like Skyrim with other people with some dungeons and stuff like that from a typical MMO. So yeah, I'm very impressed with the game so far. I guess the only negative thing I could say about it is the game does look pretty ugly though. At least the character models. This game was made in 2014, so it's not even that old. Things like Final Fantasy 14 and Guild Wars 2 are like older than this game, and I think they look way better than this game. I don't know what happened, but that's honestly kind of the only negative thing I could say about it. Besides that, if you like Skyrim or like Oblivion or any of the other Elder Scrolls games and just want to play with people, this game really does, feels like that. Or if you're just, waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, then I think this is a good game to hold you over. I want to play a Bethesda game for a while, but it kind of sucked now. I was not a fan of Fallout 4. Fallout 76 is awful, so this is like a good little holdover. Just I'm getting that Bethesda experience without actually playing a Bethesda game. So yeah, really good. I'm enjoying it, and that's about it.
Okay, so my turn now. I've obviously been playing League of Legends. I actually got my win rate above 50.
Hey.
It's actually cursed for season 10 for most players to be under 50, and I'm just what the fuck is a season? But same old League of Legends sort of thing. I talk about it more on a different podcast I do every week with our friend Jeffrey. But I also played the League card game, Legends of Runeterra.
Runeterra, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really bad at it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm just terrible.
Is it free for everyone now? Can I just get it?
Yeah. It's beta. It's in beta right now. So
I need to try
if you want to download it, it's a separate client. It looks so much better than the League client, which I'm assuming they aren't updating the League client because they're doing their own Riot sort of battle.net thing.
Yeah.
But just fix the fucking client, man. This shit is so annoying. But anyways, yeah, the League card game, it's super duper fun. It's once you get I would say 10 games in, you're probably less than that. It took me 10 games to finally understand what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
But it's super duper fun. Despite me being really trash at it, it's just a nice little fun card game I could play. And, games are pretty quick, so not sure if that's because I'm bad or what. But I've also been playing Ring Fit Adventure. I played that at Genesis when we went there because Kofi brought it. And that shit was fun. I was like, what the hell? This is actually super duper dope. So bought it for myself. I've been playing it. My goal was to play it every night, but then I realized that running is kind of loud. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll do it every other night.
Just do the squats.
Oh yeah. But oh my god, my legs be killing me. Dead ass. Holy moly. But Ring Fit Adventure is just a super cool game that is a exercising game, but it's also a sort of adventure sort of thing going on at the same time. I have a feeling that a year from now this game's going to be super duper rare because not many people really bought it, and I don't think Nintendo's going to be making any more units and shipping them out, I think. So I think a year from now this game's going to be kind of rare because it's also only available physically just because you need the ring con and all this other stuff that it comes with it. So I think it's going to be rare in the next year, but that's just my theory. Who knows? They might just make more, whatever.
I mean, they made more Labos, so.
They did, but no one buys that.
That's true. You're right.
Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. I've actually been playing this more. And one thing I realized was that the copy I bought from the Video Game Trading Post, the scratches on it actually affected the game. And I was like, fuck. So what would happen is that at the end of the first act, when you're playing as Ultimate Spider-Man in the black suit, and you're chasing Electro, right? There's supposed to be this door that's open. But when I was playing it, it was fucking closed. So then I was like, what the hell's going on? Is there supposed to be a switch? Am I missing something? Because I'm listening to a podcast while playing the game. So I'm not paying super close attention to what's going on, but I do have subtitles on. So and then I was like, what's going on? So then I looked it up on YouTube. The door's supposed to be open, and then eventually the door was open, but it was a black void. So then I jumped through it. The game freezes, restarts my PS3, and I was like, oh, okay, this game's defective. So thankfully they have a 64-day return policy, I believe. So I'm going to go back there next Saturday anyways. So hopefully they'll be able to let me exchange it for something else, and hopefully they'll believe me, because I'm not going to record me like showing that the game's broken, because it is. Because I bought another copy on eBay, and that copy works perfectly, because when I played through the level, it just worked fine. So, but I haven't tested the other levels out yet. So hopefully it doesn't like break in like the first level, because that would be bad.
That would be really bad.
Yeah, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, it's a cool little level-to-level sort of Spider-Man game, which I think we need within the next maybe 5 years or something like that. And then Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, shout out to my boy Damien here. Bought it for me for my birthday. And yeah, this is a game I probably wouldn't have bought because it's $60, but it's a anime fighting game, or it's a anime game, so that's why I don't buy them at 60, because most of the time they like drop in price within like the first like 6 months, or something like that. But Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I believe it's like the last Dragon Ball Z game that was purely single player was like Dragon Ball Z Sagas, which was like also a action RPG sort of game on the PS2, and that game was kind of fun, I believe, when I played it when I was younger. But this one's just a full-blown action RPG retelling of the obviously Dragon Ball Z story, but it does add some like little tidbits of like background, like how Raditz went to Earth and stuff like that. So I'm not that far into the game. I'm like 3 hours in, and I only got up to the part where Goku faces Nappa and Vegeta. So
yeah, I mean,
the game.
That's
go on.
I was gonna say that's I mean, the game is long, isn't it? It's like an RPG.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty much a action RPG. So it is gonna be pretty long to go through the entire Dragon Ball Z story. Honestly, what would I would have loved if they make a game like this, but for Dragon Ball Super, because I know a lot of people haven't watched Super, and I think anime games like retelling that story without like all of the fillers, like a really nice way to like get into a certain series. Like for example, like Naruto, like I don't watch any of the anime, but I play all of the games because I like the story. Mm-hmm. So I think if they were to do like a sequel to this, but with the whole Super story, I think that would be super interesting, and I think a lot more people would buy it, because I think Super has some really interesting stories.
Yeah, I think they might try to do like a Dragon Ball Super like RPG like that. Yeah, I think this game sold really well, actually. Like I know it was like top selling on Steam forever. So
yeah, it sold like 1 million or something within 1.5 mil in the first week. So that's like.
I was just gonna say, I just think Dragon Ball Z is just more popular than Super, so they make more money off the Z brand. But it wouldn't surprise me to do like a Super like clone of this, basically.
Yeah, I would definitely buy that, because I watched a lot of Super, but I didn't watch all of it. I got up to like the last arc, which was like the last, or the second tournament arc or whatever. So, but Dragon Ball Super definitely has some like pretty fun stories to watch. But moving on, I watched Against the Odds, which is a Dota 2 documentary that you can watch on the Red Bull YouTube channel, and I just watched it because I was like, screw it, whatever. And that's a dope ass documentary. Like I don't know anything about Dota, and like when they showed like gameplay and stuff, like I still don't know what the fuck's going on. But like the story that this documentary tells is like super duper interesting and really like inspiring and like almost anime like. Like I'm not even gonna lie, like straight up, like some of the shit that happens in this documentary is like, what the fuck, that actually happened, sort of thing. So but yeah, it's free on YouTube. It's like over an hour long, and it's like, if you like video games and like esports in general especially, you should definitely check this documentary out. Even if you know nothing about Dota, like I know jack shit about Dota, and I really enjoyed this documentary. And then I watched 2 movies. Birds of Prey, that movie came out, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it. And that movie is super duper dope, honestly. Oh. A lot of people will like say it's like, like DC's version of like Deadpool 1, which it kind of is, because it does like the whole like Harley's like narrating the whole thing. It's rated R, this and that. But this is really like a Harley Quinn movie. I wish that they just stuck with the Harley Quinn thing, because it mainly is focused on Harley Quinn. The Birds of Prey aspect doesn't come into like the third act of the movie, but you do follow every single one of these characters throughout. So but it's mainly a Harley Quinn movie. And I think it was really fun. You know, like, say the flaws that you will, the pacing, this and that, but like at the end of the day, like, I had a good time with this movie. And they've had a good track record with like the past like couple of movies, especially since Shazam and then Joker and now this. Like, it's been pretty good. And you know, if you like superhero movies, like, you know, give this movie a shot. Like, if you have the time to go to the theaters, like, definitely take a look at Birds of Prey, because this movie is fun and super stylized and it's just a good time. Now, a movie that I honestly didn't expect that I was gonna be able to watch, because it was like a super limited like releasing, is Parasite. So I watched it the day the Oscars were happening, which I didn't know. I just walked into the theater the morning of, like 11 a.m., walked out of it, and I was like, that was a fucking dope-ass movie. And then later that night, like, the Oscars happened, and it, like, won everything. Like, Best Director, Best Foreign Film, Best Picture, and I was like, yeah, the movie is fucking dope. Like, it's a foreign movie. It's fully, like, played out in Korean with English subtitles. And if you don't like subtitles, that's a you problem, not, you know, anyone else's. So if you can get past like reading subtitles throughout the like 2-hour runtime, like, I think you'll really enjoy this movie, because it tells a very interesting story about how like sort of like classes of like economy wise, like, it follows like this much lesser fortunate family that gets jobs from this more fortunate family. And like, they each one of them like get a job to do something else for that family, but they don't know that they're all related. Right. So like, you see how like that all plays out, and I'm just like, yeah, this is definitely some like fucking hijinks going on here. And the longer the movie goes, like, more like weird and interesting things happen, I will say, like, to not spoil anything. But the movie's super duper dope. I'm sure it's going to be playing in theaters still, just because it won Best Picture and people want to see it.
Yeah.
So if you have a chance to see Parasite, see it. It's super duper dope. And I'm not saying that just because I'm Asian, but
no, I might. Cause I've been hearing good things about it all year. Like, even before it won Oscars, I heard so many people talking good things about it. So
that's like, the main reason. That's the main reason why I saw it, because I was like, people were like, "Yo, this shit's dope," and I was like, "Really?" And I was like, "This is an Asian film too. Okay." So walked into that theater, watched it, and I was like, "Wow, this shit's dope." So that's my whole spiel on my recent activities. Now let's talk about the PlayStation 5. And I believe these come from like quote unquote sources. So obviously take everything we're saying with a grain of salt, because these are coming from alleged sources and things like that. So, but this first one isn't a alleged source. PlayStation's actually doing a fucking balancing act where they're like waiting for Xbox to announce their price first before they say the price of the PS5. So that is very interesting. But the one that most recently came out is that it's supposedly going to cost them $450 per PlayStation 5 to make. So I don't know what the hell they're going to price it at. If they price it at $500, they're definitely not making that much money. But then again, if Xbox happened to price at $500, they kind of have to at that point. Because I think no one in their right mind would like buy a PlayStation 5 at like $600-$700 without thinking twice about it, sort of thing.
Yeah, because wasn't the PS3 $600 when it came out, right?
Yeah, $599.
Yeah, $599 US dollars. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, like, they might go for like $550. I mean, again, they're waiting for the Xbox to like release their prices, I guess. So I don't know. I'm saying the ballpark of like $500, $550, but it really wouldn't surprise me if it goes to $600 at this point. And I think that's just because technology is like so like, you just need the money, like, you know what I mean? So it really wouldn't surprise me if these consoles were like $600. You know, I don't see them going over that price, because that's just suicide at that point. But my bet is gonna be like $550, $600 for these consoles. Like, I don't really see them being $500, because I feel like that's a big loss. Well, not loss, but like not like a big gain at all for them to do like $500 for a console. So I'm guessing it's gonna be $550 or $600. That's my guess.
Because at this point, like, we're at the point where like consoles are getting like super powerful, and they're becoming almost like PCs, but not exactly. Yeah. Like, they're getting to that point where they're matching certain PCs level. But you know, that obviously comes with a huge ass cost. And the fact that it is being rumored that each PS5 is going to be $450 per unit, and that if they were to sell them at like $500, they're not gonna make $50 back because they have to pay the retailer to sell it as well. So you know, like $600 I think is very like reasonable if this is true about the $450 per unit sort of cost. I think 600, some people would definitely think twice about it. Some other people would just be like, no, fuck it, PS5, give me, you know, sort of thing. But that is such like a huge price point for me personally, because I think $600 for a console is like above the $500 mark, which is where is my limit personally. So $600 I think is going to be a really steep for some people, particularly for myself as well. But $550 I think would be like a nice middle ground for most people. But once again, since they're doing this whole balancing act and waiting for Microsoft to say something first, Microsoft's just gonna, you know, wait out.
Yeah, so yeah, it really just depends on what I guess Microsoft says at this point. But you know, even if this rumored 450 price isn't even true, I still will say like that mid 500 range is probably where it's going to be at. I don't see it being any cheaper than that, since these consoles seem to be like, you know, they're like, yeah, they are matching like PC levels, at least like mid-tier, lower mid-tier PCs, you know, or of current PCs anyway. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that it would be that price point. And hey, if, you know, if there's a Ratchet and Clank at launch, like apparently there was some rumor that was gonna happen, then yeah, I'll buy it like immediately.
Hey man, if it's a PS5 exclusive, then shit, you got me in too.
Yeah, I'll buy for like $1,000 at that point.
Gotta experience that new Ratchet and Clank, but
yeah.
You know, hopefully, you know, with most console launches, it's just a matter of what games you got, because like, you know, with the Wii U, it was like, man, we got so many games, but like most of them were already on like PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah.
So hopefully when the PS5 launches, half of the launch titles aren't PS4 games, because that would be really disheartening.
Yeah, they need to be exclusively PS5, like that Godfall
and good
game.
PS5.
Yeah, like that
good PS5 games.
That Godfall, whatever it's called, game looked kind of cool, but you know, I think we need more. Like we need more PS5 games. Like we can't like do here's Ghost of Tsushima, which is on PS4 and PS5. Like that's probably not going to sell many PS5s because people are just gonna buy on PS4. So
it only worked with Zelda.
Yeah, it only worked with Breath of the Wild because no one had a Wii U, so they were able to like hey, this is basically a Switch game at this point. So yeah. But a lot of people own a PS4, so yeah, I'm not sure many people would buy a PS5 just to play like Ghost of Tsushima, like a better FPS, you know, if they could save like $600 or whatever. So
yeah, definitely, because like I didn't buy my PS4 at launch because I was like, it's only Infamous Second Son, and I guess I'll just buy the limited edition now and just hold out and just wait for a better bundle, which I did. I think it was like the following year, like they had like a Black Friday thing, and I just bought it then because it was $400 and it came with GTA 5 and Last of Us, and I was like, that's good for me. And at that point, the PS4 was like getting more titles, so you know, hopefully when the PS5 does launch, or you know, whatever price, whatever launch titles, you know, they have like a nice steady stream of games to go with it, because a lot of the times consoles have like a drought, and that's just not good.
Yeah, that's why I usually never buy a console in launch. Even Nintendo consoles is like, the 3DS had nothing when it first came out. Wii U was awful. Even the Switch for a while didn't have much. PS4 didn't really have much either when it came out. So yeah, I usually don't buy consoles at launch unless the launch titles are very good. So we're just gonna have to wait for that though.
Yeah. So I think that's it. For today?
I think that's everything.
Okay. So thank you guys for listening to the Travis and Damian podcast once again, and we will see you guys 2 weeks from now with another episode.
See ya.